You know what we never get to the bottom of?
What?
If this guy is related to William Shakespeare. We'll get there.
I'm on a hunch. I'm going to say no.
No. Okay.
No relation.
I actually have some hard evidence. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Great. Okay.
Oh, you know what else?
What?
Jillian Pensavalle.
Patrick Hines. Put it up.
I mean, a whole different key every time.
Every
a whole
time.
different key.
And sometimes you ramp up.
Hi, Jillian P.
Hey, Patrick H.
What's happening over there, girl?
Nothing. You threw me for a loop with the initial, the half initial.
Look, 7.5 years
Jillian
in.
P. Like I'm back in third grade. Jillian P.
If I can still surprise you, that's my mission every day.
Surprise me every day, sweetheart.
Guess what I did today?
What did you do?
I had a conversation with a woman who's going to be our mixologist on the Patreon because we're going to start doing these cool, extra bonus things.
Fantastic.
We're having this lady over to my house. We're going to live stream it on Patreon. She's a mixologist. We're going to do a cocktail making class.
Yeah.
Natalie's going to do it with us as well.
Great.
We're going to shoot it live. We're going to have all the Patreon people who want to watch it.
Right.
We're inventing a Dunkin' Donuts based espresso martini. We're calling it the Grillo because it's espresso martini.
Natalie, it's her favorite thing. Espresso martinis run through Natalie's veins.
I know.
And I'm here for it.
We're doing 10 cocktails. Well, we're doing 8 cocktails and 2 mocktails.
Oh, good.
So we're going to give you a date soon. We're also going to be doing drag bingo in the month of January with a live drag queen who's going to be doing bingo live, but also performing live.
It cannot come fast enough.
I'm just saying, if you've ever considered joining the Patreon, now might be a good time to get involved.
I mean, we've always said it sounds like a party, but now it feels like we were lying this whole time because now it feels like it's a party and a half. Now it's a party and a half. It's always been a party, but now it's a party and a half.
Patreon.com/truecrimeobsessed or go to the website and click on the Patreon link.
The web portal.
Go to the internet.
Use your internet protocol address device.
Yes. Girl, what are we talking about today?
So remember that show Web of Death that we did with Bob Ruff about the N8s case?
Yes, you see Bobby in the opening credits.
Yes. So that was episode 3, and we wanted to do it because for our friend Bob, right?
Yeah.
And for N8s. But this is the first episode. We're going to do these episodes now. So this is the first episode of Web of Death.
We're not doing them in order.
No.
We're just sprinkling them in.
Yeah, we're sprinkling them in.
Yeah.
But we thought, hey, we'd start at the top. So this is Web of Death, episode 1. It's called Jackpot Murder, but it's really the murder of Abraham Shakespeare.
It was at this convenience store that Abraham Shakespeare bought the lotto ticket that changed his life.
$30 million.
Then disappeared.
Have you seen this millionaire?
We were convinced that there was foul play involved.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
It's about greed.
Greed.
Greed. So greedy.
The problems came when the money came.
I really would like my old life back, but got people asking for money.
Everything just started to feel weird.
This had all the ingredients of whodunit mystery.
There is Abraham Shakespeare.
It was a rags to riches to murder.
Right at the top, we meet Trisha Griffiths, who's amazing. She's got real Body Movin' vibes. Remember Body Movin' from Don't F with Cats?
I mean, Trisha walks so Body Movin' could run, I feel like. Or scratch it, reverse it, I'm not sure.
When I saw her at first, I thought she was Body Movin'.
Yeah, so Trisha owns websleuths.com.
Which is a big fucking deal. Websleuths.com is a real thing.
Yeah, and remember, this is the first episode, which I sort of had to keep remembering because we were like, Web of Death, that's not really the best name for something like this. But we're focusing on websleuths.com because the whole point of the series is how web sleuths can really help solve cases and get justice.
And these are regular, normal citizens. Trisha, the first thing she says is the reason I love true crime and the true crime community is because I can make a difference.
Right. So this has 20,000 members, 16 million posts.
200,000 members.
200,000 members, 16 million posts. That doesn't make sense. Yes, 200,000 definitely makes
You're never
more sense.
wrong. It's fun to find you being wrong once.
Typos happen. I love being wrong.
Do you?
Being wrong is my favorite thing.
Oh.
We've discussed this.
You're so wrong, you're right.
Yes. No, but usually when I'm wrong, it means I don't have to be mad about something.
Oh, that's true.
So that's why I love being wrong. And I also get to learn shit. Oh my God, being wrong is the best.
What a great day this is being for you so far.
This is great. That's true. Off on the wrong foot and thrilled about it. Purse first.
Did I ever tell you about when we were at Steve's parents for the first Christmas since Purse First came out, which is Bob the drag queen?
Yeah.
And Daisy put on a pair of sunglasses.
Sure.
They've got one of those houses where it's like the kitchen, the foyer, and the dining room. So it's one big circle. She was walking around holding a purse in front of her going, purse first, purse first.
Smart girl.
Everybody in the room, purse first.
It's very smart.
I mean, she with the sunglasses.
She is me, I am she. Here's the thing about Trisha. She does voiceover work.
And you know how when you call a company and you want to talk to a human being and you can't get to them because there's a computer voice giving you all kinds of other options? Well, I'm one of those voices. Welcome to private banking. To speak with a representative, please say representative. We're sorry, but this feature is...
She's so good at this because I'm waiting for her to be like, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. To speak to a person, please say representative. Cut to me screaming, representative!
Representative!
Oh my God.
Did you ever do this work?
I've done voiceover work, but no, I've never been the person in the phone.
Oh my God.
Never.
So I love on TikTok when sometimes you meet Siri, like the actual Siri people.
And you're like, is Siri? Oh no, it's the person. It's a different person in my phone.
Wild.
It's the actual Siri person.
But I do want to say too that Trisha, just talking about the web sleuths and the true crime of it all, she says, unless you're with someone who has the same passion, it's very hard to understand. These people, this goes beyond the passion for true crime. I think these are the people who really think they can solve cases, and some of them do.
Yeah, there's some information they have, and I'm like, how'd you get
I know, the cops have the same question, girl. But I'm just saying that, like, she's not talking about, like, if you love Oxygen documentaries, you're probably not going to be able to find a partner unless they do too. She's talking about if you want to stay up all night thinking you're going to solve John Bonet.
This is your life. It's all consuming.
These are your people.
And that has to be okay.
Yeah.
Much like being a Taylor Swift fan.
Because, exactly. Oh my God. I'm slowly becoming a Swiftie.
Can I just tell people what happened?
Yes, tell them what happened.
So earlier today, this is true, and every Swiftie has had this experience where someone says, wait, what happened with Kim and Kanye? And then I literally ramped up. I was like, okay, so you remember at the VMAs when he stole her award. Okay, and then
that was the extent of my knowledge was the VMAs when he stole her award.
We went through, did I or did I not give you basically a PowerPoint presentation for 25 minutes? I'm not kidding. That ended with the Time Person of the Year interview where she fucking finally, for the first time since Kim Kardashian's name, said it was illegal, said and kept her mouth. Taylor knew the truth was going to come out because it always fucking does. And then it ends with like the best fucking quote ever where she's like, there's no point in trying to quote take down your enemies because trash takes itself out every single time. Sweetheart. So basically the point is I just explained Reputation to you and why Reputation TV is going to change the surface of the earth and all of our brain chemistry. I will be insufferable when Rep TV comes out. I'm telling you right now. Those vault tracks. She's speaking to me, okay?
I am very excited for all of us.
So take what we just did, multiply it by 1 million about true crime, that's web sleuths.
That's web
like,
100%.
We did it.
Yeah, we
did it.
She says,
I don't go out, I don't date. People say, well, what else do you do? And I just give them a blank stare. And I'm like, well, that's it.
No, this is it.
Yeah, Trisha is doing some fucking work on this.
She's the women being allowed to do the work.
Not being allowed. We're just doing it better.
I mean,
we're not asking for permission. Right. We're just saying step the fuck aside. We're doing
You know what? My mistake.
We're not asking
now
for
look
permission.
who's wrong. Now look who's wrong.
See, it's good to be wrong because you learned something.
Exactly.
How fun. But she does the voiceover thing like a couple times a month. This pays for her life and her website, and this is her whole life, right? But one of the cases she can't stop thinking about is the case of Abraham Shakespeare from Lakeland, Florida.
Okay, and it's a wild case. That is an amazing Shakespeare. Your last name is fucking Shakespeare.
And your first name's Abraham. It's a great name.
I know.
It's a strong name.
God.
Doesn't get much stronger, I don't think.
The Bible meets the theater.
Yeah. Sure.
Because Abraham is from the Bible, and Shakespeare is from the theater.
Yeah. But I heard Abraham, I go right to Lincoln.
You know what? I'm kind of surprised that I missed that one. You would think that's where I would go too.
Go right to Lincoln with that big hat.
Yeah,
and all the other shit he did.
And that sassy wife of his.
All the other stuff that happened. So Abraham Shakespeare is from Florida. He won $30 million in the lottery.
I mean, it's just wild. He won $30 fucking million.
Even Trisha's like, are you kidding me with this?
I know.
$30 million?
And
30 million.
We meet Greg number 1. We got 2 Gregs here.
I have him as Greg 1 and Greg 2. And it's not in order of preference.
No.
It's just who we meet first.
And I often
wonder.
I often have them as the Gregs because they're usually agreeing and kind of saying the same thing.
They are pretty much agreeing, but they are two very different people.
Greg Smith is his friend. They met in 2005 before Abraham won the lottery.
Which I love. I would make that distinction too, Greg. I would be like, I'm not a Johnny come lately. I'm not one of these like Damien calls them like chi suckers. I'm not with someone who's trying to get
what now?
Like chi, like your energy, like someone who's like sucking the life out of you, and also like taking money.
Damien, oh my God.
He knows from chi suckers, let me tell you. But like Greg's like, I'm a real friend.
Yes.
I was here before the money. Just let the record show.
And not only was he there before the money, Greg owned a barbershop, and Abraham was standing outside like asking people for money, and so Greg kind of went up to him and was like,
"You good dude, man. I'm gonna give you a job." So I actually gave him a job cleaning up the barbershop. He swept the floor, emptied the garbage, cleaned the toilets. He made my barbershop a barbershop.
He made my barbershop a barbershop.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I highlighted it also.
I mean, he made my barbershop a barbershop.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Because a barbershop is also like a very personal place. It's like a routine that people have.
Yes.
It sort of becomes like an important part in someone's life. And so for him to make it, it's almost like he made a house a home.
Yes,
That's the same vibe,
yes,
you know?
Yeah. But Greg tells us Abraham only had a 6th grade education. He came from a poor family. And he says his parents were orange pickers and he had to quit school to help his mom and his dad support his brothers and sisters. So, like, he had to drop out of school so that his younger siblings could stay in.
Yeah, and Greg says, it's not that uncommon for this area, but Abraham was a super hard worker, really nice guy. He worked at the barbershop. He also drove a truck.
Yeah.
Like he was doing everything he could,
He said, Greg says Abraham just wanted to be somebody like how everyone else gets to be somebody.
Yeah,
like,
I
Greg,
know.
you are speaking to my soul,
I
sir.
know. He made my barbershop a home.
I know.
I love it.
So we jumped to November 14th, 2006, the day Abraham wins the lottery. Did you write down the numbers, GP?
Of course I did. 12, 13, 42, 6, 52, 34. They feel like good numbers.
Those do feel like good numbers.
Maybe because I know that they're winning numbers, but they do feel like good numbers.
You see the number 13, you witch, and you know it's going to be a winner. That's what got you.
That's true. A lot of twos. I like the twos in here. 12, December.
Daisy told me the other day that her favorite number is 13. I was like, you are turning into your Aunt Jillian.
Like my first screen name was Chili Pep 13. 13 and 21.
I can see
12.
little Chili Pep 13. I can see it in you right now.
My best friend Ashley's mom still is like, hey, Chili Pep, whenever I see her. Fun fact, I was not even 13 when I made that screen name.
That's so funny.
Regardless, doesn't matter. Minor details.
We meet Sharika, the store clerk who sold him the lottery ticket. She's like, in fact, I do remember the day he came in and bought it.
You don't forget the day you sell the winning lottery ticket.
Sharika, for one brief shining moment, held a $30 million bill in her hand.
Right?
She says he came in.
$30 million. I mean, essentially, yes, that's exactly what it is.
He came in.
He actually purchased several tickets, and he decided at the last minute that he wanted another ticket, and he was like, actually $1 short. And he went to his guy friend, his coworker, to get the dollar to come back in to purchase the ticket, and it was actually the winning ticket.
That guy gives him $1 that ends up being the winning lottery ticket. That's going to end up in court.
Yeah, you got to split the... No, I'm not saying you split 50-50. You throw the coworker a little something.
Look, I like Abraham a lot. I think you split. I mean, if it were me, I'd give everything away.
What's $10,000 between friends when it's $30 million?
$30 million.
Give the guy a little something.
I would. There's no question about it.
Now, my question is also, did he pick the numbers, or is that one of those things where they pick the numbers for
That's
you?
a good question.
Because if Abraham picked the numbers, so sorry.
I don't know.
But if you gave the guy $1 to buy the ticket, you got to give him a little something.
Well, he was going to give him $250K. That was
not
enough.
And that was not enough
for coworker Michael Ford.
Yeah, Michael Ford is the guy who gave him $1 for. Okay.
But we learned that after taxes, he walks away with $17 million.
Okay.
The largest jackpot in that county's history.
Yes. Now,
what would you do with $17 million?
Tons.
Yeah.
I would give so much of it away.
Yeah.
I would give most of it away, I think.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone I loved is like good to go and they don't have to worry about shit.
So you basically do exactly what Abraham did.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way. I would, of course, make sure I'm good to go, too. But I would make sure, my parent, anyone who needs it to be you don't have to worry ever now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, animals and people and women and kids and the climate crisis and the housing crisis.
17 million only goes so far, GP.
I know, but can I say, though, the taxes are fucking insane.
That's insane.
You win $30 million, you only get 17. I'm not putting my nose up at 17 million, but the math is crazy.
Look, I like a good tax situation. That money's going to the schools and the roads and the fire department.
But he didn't win $30 million.
No. Right. Yeah.
So when you say a $30 million lottery winner, it's 17 million. And again, nothing to sneeze at.
Listen, once again, if you are spit out your coffee, this is where I lose all the husbands who they're like, I didn't like you, but then you're in the shower with my wife every morning, and so you grew on me.
Yeah.
I'm saying I like paying taxes, and I'm saying I like paying taxes.
Okay, great.
That's all. We live in a society. We have to take care of each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prison for a piece of paper. Tell me what I owe, please, and I will happily pay it.
I will say, just send me a bill. Why can't it be a bill?
The system is insane.
It is really.
Just tell me, because you know.
And it's designed.
If you know what I owe.
Yeah, totally.
Just tell me and I'll do it. Don't make it like a guessing game where I'm stressed out for a month.
We do this once every 6 weeks where we really got to yell about the tax code.
I know. It's the end of the year. I have a call with my accountant tomorrow. I know. It's really on my mind. So I'm scared. So we meet Greg number 2, Greg Massey. He's a childhood friend.
Yes, he's known him since the 80s.
Yeah, he's like, look, this is a true rags to riches story. That's how he describes it.
And he's saying that
I didn't say that I felt the worst for him. I was glad for him. But winning that amount of money is for anybody. It's a life-changing event.
When Abraham first won that money, it wasn't only Abraham Shakespeare. It was the community won the lottery.
The entire community won.
Right. And so Greg, number 2, I'm sorry, that's not a disparaging way to say it. I just met you second. Sorry. Yeah. But he's like, I am cautiously optimistic. So he's happy. He knows it's life-changing. But like, we've heard about this. What do they call it? Like the lottery curse? Like when everyone knows you have $17 million, people come out of the woodwork.
Well, I guess my other question is, it seems like he got it in a lump sum, which also means you get less money.
Yes.
Because you do usually have that. There are a number of ways I've looked into this in my time of fantasy.
Whenever there's a Powerball where it's $17 zillion, everyone is Googling, like, how much money am I really going to get?
You can get it in a lump sum, but in a lot of states, you can also not attach your name. You can win anonymously.
And does that vary by...
It varies by state.
There are some states
in New York, you cannot win anonymously. You have to give your name.
Buy your tickets over the fucking river in New Jersey,
I guess that's
everybody.
true, but what if they're only selling winning tickets here, GP? Then what?
I also would just have to buy a New York lottery ticket. I feel like it would be bad luck if I don't buy it where I am.
I know. Yeah.
Or maybe it's the ultimate luck to buy it in Connecticut. Who knows?
Who knows?
I've never won, so I don't know.
And you know what? You're never gonna. I hate to say it.
It's okay. I'm fully aware. You're not like hurting my feelings or anything. I know. I'm never going to be a Powerball winner.
Wait, no. You just blew the opportunity to pay me the perfect compliment. You won the lottery when you hooked yourself up with me.
Oh, wow. See, you saw 3 steps ahead, setting me up for failure. There's no way I could have done it.
Failure is not an option.
Oh, boy.
I wrote a book.
No, wait. What?
And I did the audio.
I definitely have not been hearing about this for 18 months. Tell me more about it. Did you have shows or something?
Hey.
Just saying.
Oh, my God.
Abraham immediately starts helping everyone.
He gave his stepfather $1 million, his stepsisters $250,000 each.
He gave his godfather $1 million. He loaned money to his cousins to help him purchase a house.
He's helping cousins buy houses. He's helping senior citizens around town pay their bills.
Yeah.
He was helping people. And this is so amazing. He was helping people give loved ones proper funerals and burials if they didn't have the money or the insurance. He's
helping people buy cars, the essentials that people need. But what happens when this happens is that this would happen to anybody who wins the lottery who isn't a finance person.
Yeah.
I think this would happen to any of us. You can't, or I can't conceptualize what $17 million is.
Of course.
If you get it all in a lump sum, it's in your bank account, you just got an ATM card, you could blow through that money in a year.
Right. And you're also thinking, if someone is saying you should get a finance person to help you, I can understand the response being well, no, I'm just going to help these people that need it.
And I would just assume anybody would rip me off. Anybody who's going to help me is going to steal my money.
Right. Because they might be some of the bad people coming out of the woodwork. You don't know.
Because you're literally going to them and saying, I don't know how to manage this.
Yeah. Can you help me with my $17 million?
I'll never know if you cheat me, but I hope you don't.
Do you know I know someone, not who won $17 million, but someone who found themselves a finance person and then the finance person took all of their money and ran?
I mean, it doesn't surprise. I bet it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
So now we meet reporter Marissa from The Ledger.
Awesome.
She is all over this fucking story.
Because now Abraham is one of, they say, Lakeland's most prominent figures, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. Because not only is he a lottery winner, but he's also doing really good things for the community. So Marissa, the journalist, sits down with him for an interview.
She says,
as soon as he walked in, I felt a little intimidated because he stood 6 feet 4 inches tall. He had the sideburns. He was dressing really nice. And so he became very attractive. His money allowed him to really transform himself.
His money allowed a lot of things, but also he got a haircut and some new clothes, and she's like, whoa.
Yeah. And
whoa.
he's a very good-looking man.
Guy.
Yeah.
So
he buys $1 million house in North Lakeland in a gated community called Red Hawk.
Right.
Barbershop Greg, a.k.a. Greg number 1.
Great.
He's kind of the one who tells us about the inside of his house. Because he goes there and he's he had the biggest flat screen TV I'd ever saw. He says the cars, the girls, the drinks, he had fun. We all had fun.
Of course.
He's just he's passing on the good times to everybody.
And I think when you get in that situation, it's very easy, I would assume, to sort of feel if you want to be someone who's smart with your money and saving your money, it kind of looks well, can you just have fun with it for a little bit? So I think there's a little bit of guilt or pressure to kind of be the party house for a little bit before you settle down. Because again, it's $17 million.
You know who I think would be great at winning $17 million? Steve. I think he'd know what to do. Or he would know
You wouldn't be allowed to touch it ever.
He wouldn't even tell me.
No.
I wouldn't even know.
Well, he better buy
did.
the ticket to Connecticut, because if he's in New York, you're shit out of luck.
I know.
So now we meet Centauria Butler,
who I love,
who's Abraham's girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah, she says that they met when she went to his house for a house party, and she said it was like a spur of the moment thing, and he's showing her around. But she says he was really humble about it. Like he's got all this new stuff, and he's just like really humble and cool. She thought that was really sexy,
and also he's really generous, which is sexy.
Yes, and she says like they spent the whole night talking, and from that moment there was just no looking back.
And at one point she's like, "Oh, like this is what it feels to be in love." Like
I know.
That's how much they were just super into each other right away.
And then she finds out she's pregnant, and like it must be so nice to be in a life where like you find out you're pregnant, and that's not like a worrying thing. You get to just be excited now because like you got plenty of money.
You're in love.
Yep.
The guy you're in love with just won the lottery. Like, okay, perfect.
And Abraham is so excited. She says he's taking pictures all the way through the pregnancy as her belly grows.
Yeah, the baby's name is Jeremiah.
Yeah. Abraham wanted to cut the umbilical cord.
He was super in love with his whole life and his little family.
Yeah, but then both Gregs, 1 and 2, tell us that like over time things begin to change for Abraham, because here's the problem: when you're that generous, then you become a target for like handouts.
It's hard to put up boundaries like that because everyone had a story.
They were there early mornings waiting for him to surface.
Oh, I'm starting a business. I would like for you to invest in it. Oh, come donate to my church. It was real stressful, the pressure that people was applying.
Everyone had a story. Everyone had a reason.
Donate to my church.
Right. And like sometimes like they might be valid reasons, but Abraham very like nicely and with the best of intentions sort of set a precedent of if you need help, you go to Abraham.
Yes.
And I think he wanted to be that guy. And that's a beautiful way to be. But sometimes people are evil and then something bad happens.
And he's also like, Centauria is saying like it got so bad. He's like famous for being rich now, and he like literally can't walk down the street.
Yeah, and so like by 2007, he's on the news saying that he wants his life back.
Yeah.
And he's describing being, approached on the street and all these people. It's not just his family, but now it's like strangers.
Yeah.
And what are you going to say? No, I don't have it.
And he's also
people
like,
aren't going to accept that.
He's recognizable because he's like so tall. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, oh, there's Abraham.
And like no one has ever won the lottery in this town.
I
And it's
know.
sort of like, of course he's going to stand out. But also just like people are being very entitled about this and sort of not accepting any boundary that he would put up and making him feel like he has to say yes to everything.
He would literally have to move. Like the only way that he could like get out of this would be to like up and move, you know?
Things are getting so crazy that Centauria and the baby live at her apartment because like it was way too much. Like his house became sort of like a thoroughfare and it was way too much for a little newborn baby to be in that house with all the chaos.
And there's like women who are like writing their numbers down on napkins for him all the time.
Yeah.
But like he's not enjoying it. Even though his house is like party central at all times, he tells his friend Greg, he's like, I'm exhausted. I wish this was your money.
It just got so big.
Yeah. It becomes your entire identity.
Right.
You know?
And like through no fault of it, like it was sort of put upon him to do that. And so it's weighing on their relationship. It's weighing on Abraham as a person. He didn't want the money anymore. So by 2009, and I'm like, holy shit, this was his life for 3 years.
I know.
He won in 2006. So November 9th, 2009, Abraham is reported missing.
Yeah.
And this is where we go back with Trisha of websleuths.com.
So Trisha says
Trisha's driving.
I know.
And she wants us to know.
I auditioned to be the Google lady. Voice.
In 800 feet, turn right on Wilton Road.
Which would have been great to have my ex-husband hear me giving him directions. Would have been lovely.
She wanted her ex-husband to hear her giving him directions all the time.
Yes.
You just told me everything I need to know about him, Trisha.
It's why I want ghosts to be a thing, so I can haunt the fucking assholes who I hated on this planet.
Yeah. Fun.
You know what I mean?
Or just like make it so, don't be like evil about it,
No.
unless it's called for.
I want to be the kind of, unless it's called for.
Or like they can never find their keys.
Right, like the one, like the ghost who blows out the candle while you're looking in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Ooh, oh, that would
Did I scare you?
That would make someone drop dead with fear.
If the candle just goes out.
Yes.
And you know what? It just popped into my head.
Yeah.
That's
or like just the slamming door
Yeah.
over and over again in the middle of the night. The sheets get pulled out. There's an actual monster under the bed. These are things that would kill somebody.
Like the person who like you are pretty sure is there at 3 a.m. when you wake up.
It's nobody.
But it was me.
And then you're like, is that bourbon on the floor? Because you ran away so fast.
I love that God is like, Patrick, you can keep ghosting, but you gotta go sober.
Just like endless inconveniences, I think.
Friends
would be.
don't let friends drink and ghost.
And you're like, bitch, they're not my friends. It's why I'm here. That's why
God's
I'm
like,
haunting them.
Goddess is like, you make a good point.
Like, she's like, Oh, wait.
Goddess Emily Saliers of the Indigo Girls.
Yes. So Trisha tells us a story.
Yeah.
This story, everyone pull over because this is insane.
Do we believe this story?
I think we might.
Okay. I don't know.
I think it's an insane fucking thing to lie about.
It is, but it's also
But people
kind
lie
of,
about insane shit all the time, so what am I?
Yeah, I mean, have you read my book?
I have. Tell me that story about Val Kilmer again.
My Ride or Die, the true one?
Yeah. The one about the pancakes. The true one.
Yeah.
That's the true one.
Thank you so much.
Obviously. So here's Trisha's story. And halfway through it, I'm like, I know where this is going.
Well, you know exactly when you know where this is going.
Because I'm like, also, don't lie, Trisha.
The listeners are like, just fucking tell us.
Okay. She grew up in Salt Lake City. She was shopping at Fashion Place Mall. This, quote, gorgeous guy approaches her and wants her to go to his car.
Yeah.
I put my head down. I said no, and I kept walking. And 3 or 4 weeks after that, this woman was kidnapped from Fashion Place Mall. A couple of years later, I see these pictures on the front page of the newspaper. And I said, oh my God, that's that guy in Fashion Place. And it was Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy kidnaps Carol Durant from that mall. She's the one who kicked the shit out of him and busted out of the car.
Oh, was that the one?
Carol? Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
The women at the Fashion Place Mall do not fuck
They don't
around
fuck
Bundy.
around. Yeah,
No.
so she's the one who beat the shit out of him.
She's like the one survivor.
She's a hero, Carol.
Wow.
So Trisha, it could have been Trisha
Yeah.
is the point of the story.
So,
and
do we believe the story?
Well, this story is just kind of like plopped in here, and then we're back to Abraham.
Listen, I love Trisha a lot, but I don't know. No way to prove or disprove it.
I'm gonna say she's innocent until proven guilty. I believe her. Because it's an insane thing to lie about.
I know, I agree.
And we will learn, fucking hates liars.
Yes.
So I think this is just something, because she says, like, this is what got me inspired to make web sleuths. It's what got her interested in true crime, like almost living through one.
Totally.
So I believe
agree.
her. I'm on the record, I believe her.
Great. All right, I'm with you then.
So let's get back to Abraham Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Because Cindy Parrott, a.k.a. Sleuthster,
yes,
like so many others, knows that something's up with his disappearance. And I'm like, well, to be fair, aren't all cases, quote, suspicious? Like, isn't
Correct.
that what makes them a case?
I agree, but like this one, when there's $30 million involved,
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, Abraham needed a bodyguard, honestly.
Right.
Like, that's what he really needed.
Yeah. So Sleuthster cannot be stopped. She's
No.
Googling everything.
Yes.
Purchases Abraham made, and I'm like, how?
I know.
Real estate records, looking into his friends, his family, who he gave money to, what the amounts were, why he gave the money, how long he knew the person he gave the money to.
Yep. But we learned something crazy here. We learned that after 3 years of winning the lottery, so like 3 years later, he started with $17 million. He's down to $2 million.
Yeah.
He spent
$15 million. Girl. 7, 2 down.
I couldn't make it happen.
Yeah.
In the old noggin. I couldn't make it happen.
Let me tell you something. You're not alone in this.
Oh my God.
Numbers scare the shit out of me. Having to do any math on the spot. Can someone check our math on that and make extra sure?
But no, he's down to $2 million after 3 years.
Yeah.
He's almost back working at the barbershop. Like, he's going to be out of money this year.
And then it sort of hits me here, like, oh, so he didn't split anything with that coworker who gave him the $1? Because we haven't heard from him in a while. And that would have been mentioned. Sleuthster would have known.
Yep.
And also, we also learn
no one has seen Abraham physically from April to November, when his cousin, Cedric Edom, reported him missing. So there's a huge gap. Initially, no one gets suspicious because the money is still flowing. Those who are used to giving money, they're continuing to do so.
no one said anything because the money kept coming in. And I'm
know.
like, so does that mean that people were on like automatic payments or that like, what does that mean exactly?
But you know what it means to me?
What?
People didn't give a shit about seeing Abraham as long as they were getting the money he
Well, that
promised them.
too.
You know what I mean?
That too.
Like to me, it's like your cousin is paying off your house or whatever, and you don't care enough. You don't care to say hi. That's
Right.
7 months. You're not
Yeah.
going to visit your cousin who's paying your house.
It's very
or
shitty.
even like having a phone call with him or
It's
whatever.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the bank.
He was
says
the bank.
early, it just felt like I was the bank. That's exactly right.
Yes.
So people just assume, because remember, Abraham was on the news saying, I just need a break. I don't want this to be my life anymore. And so some people were like assuming that that's what was happening. He just took that break. But again, like the money was still there, so no one gave a shit.
Even like the Gregs both are like, maybe he just wanted to get away. Like he was really stressed out. But I'm like, we will learn that people were getting text messages from him.
Well, we've seen this before,
I
haven't
mean,
we?
my God, like that is such a red flag. But like, Gregs, pick up the phone and call your best friend and check on him.
Well, the web sleuths are like us. They're like, no no way he he had a girlfriend, he had a small child, he was close to his mother. There's no way he'd just bail and not tell anybody. No way for all those months.
I will say the sheriff is also here to say that, like,
if Abraham's alive and well someplace, let us know. We won't tell anyone where you are if you want to remain anonymous. We just want to close our investigation and go on to something else.
Let us allocate these resources elsewhere.
Yes.
Like, we're looking for you now, and if you don't want to be found, just call us.
Right. That's
you
fine.
know?
We just got to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Dave Clark is here. He's a detective, and he's working the cold case homicide unit.
Yeah.
And so David is on the case, and he's looking into his life both like before and after he won the lottery. And everyone's a suspect now.
Right. Because they're looking at like people who owed him money. Because some of these were loans. They weren't all just gifts.
Right.
And so like, yes, Detective David is looking at everybody.
And he is looking especially at Michael Ford. He's the coworker who gave Abraham the $1 so he could buy the winning lottery ticket.
And I'm glad to get this story.
Yes.
Because I would be looking at this guy too.
In 2007, Michael Ford had decided to sue him in court.
There was a dispute over who owned the lottery ticket. Michael Ford loaned him $1 to buy it.
He claimed that Abraham stole the winning ticket from his wallet. Abraham Shakespeare said that was further from the truth.
There was a dispute over who actually owned the ticket.
I mean, it's, you would think this would have happened enough times that this would be settled by now.
Right.
How many times do you hear the story, like the guy lent you the buck and then you went, or like,
Right.
it's the office pool and you're the one that made the trip and that you get, what happened
If it's an office pool, it's everyone is splitting it equally.
100%.
That is a non-starter.
Yes.
We're not going to a trial over that.
I totally agree.
The point is that you're all putting it, please.
Yeah, I know.
That's very different.
No, I know.
Saying, hey,
I know.
I'm feeling lucky. I want to buy an extra ticket. Do you happen to have $1? And then that $1 paid for the winning ticket is a very different story.
I don't know about that. To me, that's a 50-50 proposition.
Meaning
you give the guy 50% of it.
No, you got to give something. The office pool, you're on your own. You're all splitting it
I'm
equally.
saying 50%. Anyway, we'll get there.
Okay. Then this goes back to my question.
Yeah.
Who picked the numbers?
But I wanted to also say this. What's his name?
Michael?
Yeah, Michael Ford, in his lawsuit, is claiming that Abraham stole the winning ticket.
Out of his wallet.
Yeah.
Which I just don't
I don't believe it either. And like the woman who sold him the ticket
was
also,
there.
Yeah, she was there.
So Abraham is like, that's not true. And to shut Michael up, the amount of shut up money is Abraham offers Michael Ford $250,000.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not $17 million.
Like
the guy gave you without his dollar. He could have easily been like, no, bro, I'm going to use that for a soda later.
Yeah, I don't know why it got this far.
Yeah.
Because if they were close enough, literally, like physically in proximity to borrow the $1 and pay for the ticket.
Yeah.
How did that conversation, like, why are we in a courtroom about this?
I know. I mean, I would have sued the guy too, but we learned that Michael loses the court case and he's having money problems. He got nothing. He didn't even get that sweet $250K.
And he's super bitter and
he's
jealous.
bitter. So that's why Officer Dave is looking at him as like a possible suspect.
And the web sleuths are like, girl, same. That's exactly what we would have done because this looks like a motive to us.
But then they're saying that
we sent a detective up to Georgia where Michael Ford was living. We conducted a lengthy interview with him. And with his truck records, he was ultimately able to prove that he had not been in Florida since April of 2009, and there was no way he could have been involved.
He'd not been in Florida since April 2009, so he couldn't have done it.
Right. Now, at first, I'm like, wait a second. I thought he hadn't been seen since April.
Yeah.
But they proved that this guy is not involved.
They clear him.
So suspect number 2 is Cedric Edom. He's a cousin of Abraham's.
And we learn about this guy. He doesn't sound like a very nice person.
No, and he's also a liar.
Yeah.
Because he is the one who reported Abraham missing. And Abraham had given him money to buy a house.
Yes.
So he reports Abraham missing. And then eventually down the line, he changes the story that he didn't report Abraham missing.
And it's like, maybe it's because reporting him missing makes him look like you're the only one who noticed he was gone.
I guess.
You know?
But why lie about it if you don't have anything to hide? I'm just not sure. Like, what a weird lie to say something and then take it back.
And they're saying that, like, he was definitely having money problems and that, like, the cops are like, when we interviewed this guy, he was a real fucking piece of work.
I mean, everyone says he's difficult. Greg, the childhood friend, Greg number 2, outright calls him an asshole.
Yes.
Like, he has to be bleeped.
Yeah.
Which is like, Hulu, can we all grow up?
I know.
I'm paying for your service. Don't you bleep me.
Don't you fucking bleep me, Hulu.
Yeah. Don't you bleep me. Exactly.
Thank
How
you.
do you like it, Hulu? Doesn't feel so good, does it? You're wondering what I said.
But yeah, people don't like Cedric.
No. And Greg number 2 also says, like, he was just super entitled. Like, Cedric made it clear that, he thought Abraham owed him something just because they were family, to which I say, fuck that.
And, like, I only think the only person who's owed money here is the guy who gave you the $1.
Right.
I'm really on that guy's side.
But the cops eliminate Cedric. I'm still like hung up on the fact that he was being shady for the sake of being shady with lying about it. Did he report him? Did he not? But whatever.
Yeah, we're back with Centauria now, who is the girlfriend and the mother of his child.
The police had already contacted me and they said something weird is going on. Abraham, we can't find him. We've been looking. It's not adding up. What do you know? And I'm like, well, no, I haven't seen him. I've got texts from his phone, but I haven't seen it.
But I've been getting texts from his phone.
Oh, red flag.
And I was like, no.
So it turns out there's a woman saying that she's Abraham's, quote, business partner.
Yeah.
Her name is Doris Moore, but she goes by Dee Dee Moore.
Yes.
And she's both a financial advisor and also owns a company called American Medical Professionals.
I know. And Sleuther finds her in 10 minutes.
Sleuthster is all over it.
Yes. It's like these fucking web sleuths are amazing.
They're amazing. Well, they all get in a fight later, which I'm living for. But apparently, according to Dee Dee Moore, she met Abraham. Everything I'm saying is in air quotes.
Yeah.
They met at, quote, a business conference, right?
Yeah.
She was intrigued that he was a lottery winner. I'm like, girl, I'm sure you were.
She wants to write a book about him, she says.
Right. That really excited him. I'm like, the last thing this guy wants is more attention. That is, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
So the book thing sort of faded away.
Yeah.
Of course it did, because he's not interested in it.
Nope.
And then they were just friends, and like she has tons of money, so she was sending limos to pick him up and take him to casinos.
Which makes me feel like she's getting a kickback from the casino because
here's my millionaire high roller friend.
Millionaire high roller, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then she's like, oh, and then we were such good friends that I just started taking over his finances.
Well, because they're saying to us that her role was to come in and help straighten out, like she's basically the enforcer.
They call her a debt collector.
Yeah, she was going to be the one that was going to get the money back from all the people who owed him money.
Shady.
But you know what? He needs somebody like that.
He does.
You know?
He just,
or
not
at least
Dee Dee Moore.
Not her.
Literally anyone else.
But he needs somebody to be like, and also, girls, stop giving the money.
Yes.
You're down to $2 million. That podcaster can't do that math, but it's a lot. It's a lot away from the 17 you started with.
15.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, 15 million.
I know.
You know what I mean?
3 years.
Of like at this point, tax-free money.
And like none of it was put away. None of it was in savings.
Buried in the woods, like I
buried
always
in the
say.
Woods, turned into cash and buried in the woods.
Yes.
So Dee Dee Moore is also the person who's telling everyone that Abraham left his entire life for this other woman. And the story is that this other woman is Jamaican.
Yes.
And they were currently living in Orlando, but Abraham and this mystery woman are going to go to Jamaica to be with this woman and her family.
Yeah, and it's important to like call back to reporter Marissa here because Marissa is like sitting in the newsroom of her newspaper when Dee Dee calls, and like Marissa has heard that Abraham is possibly dead.
Yeah.
And that like maybe Dee Dee has information. And Dee Dee's like, he's definitely not dead. He's with that Jamaican girl. But Marissa's like, I want him for an interview. Can you make that happen? And Dee Dee says, yes, absolutely, no problem.
Yeah.
And so that's an important thing to remember for later.
Yeah. And also, and while this is happening, Abraham is also texting his girlfriend the same thing. And look, we've seen this 100 times before, right?
Yeah.
No one's seen him. He won't call people back. He'll only communicate via text.
Yep.
And this is where his friends and family are saying, here's the thing about that.
Because of his educational background, texting is not something that he did, especially with some of the words that was being used.
Something's not adding up.
It's just not how he communicated.
Yeah.
And this Dee Dee Moore woman obviously wouldn't know that because they barely know each other.
Exactly.
So she's trying to, it's not looking good.
Right.
So the web sleuths do a deep dive on
Into
Dee Dee
Dee Dee
Moore
Moore.
and her fake business,
I
quote,
mean-
American Medical Professionals.
But that company now owns Abraham's $1 million house.
Right. And Dee Dee Moore is living there and not hiding it. She's all over Instagram.
She's posting like photos out by the pool.
Living it up.
I know.
So Dave the cop is doing his own investigation and stumbles onto websleuths.com.
And loves it.
He is blown away.
The first cop in the history of the internet who like loves the web sleuths.
He sees all the records and documents and he's like, I need a subpoena. Like, they have all of the information I want. They did all the work for me. This is great. I'm going to lean into the web sleuths.
But that's my question. He's saying they have stuff that I could only get with.
I
How
don't
did
know
they get
how.
it? You know?
I don't know. And they're not really revealing their sources because
No.
I guess then they'll never get them again or solve crimes ever again.
Oh my God.
So what Dee Dee Moore is doing is now she's slowly moving everything that Abraham has into her company's name.
So
She
it's
has
not just
access-
the house. It's everything.
his bank accounts,
Yes.
everything. She has taken over his life completely. Like a safe deposit box,
Yes.
the works. And so, like, just to make it clear, Dee Moore has control over Abraham's entire life, and Abraham has been missing for 7 months.
That's when the web sleuthers are like, where are the fucking cops? Like, it's so obvious to us. Where are they?
Right. So finally, the cops are like, let's get this Dee Moore in here.
Yes.
She's super cooperative, shows all the paperwork, and she's like, I don't know why you guys are wasting your time. Like, he wants to be missing. And I'm like, that's great, but FaceTime us then, Abraham.
Exactly. And she's saying, like,
I'm not yelling at Abraham. I'm just saying.
Yeah. She shows the cops a bill of sale for the house. She paid $655,000 for a $1 million house. That doesn't really seem to make any sense.
Yeah.
But also, not just the house, but everything he owned. And her story is that
I talk to Abraham all the time, and I don't know why anybody's reporting missing. He's missing because he wants to be missing. She said she was helping him get his finances under control so that he could get away and disappear.
he was running out of money.
Yeah.
He needed cash. He wanted to get out of Dodge. He wanted me to buy everything from him like at a discount so he could have the cash and run off to the island.
It was a going out of business sale, basically.
Yeah. But his friends are like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he wouldn't know how to do that.
Right.
He wouldn't, like, Abraham was not a business savvy person.
Or
It'd be like
leave
me.
his child that
Exactly.
he loved and his girlfriend that he loved so much. So Dee Dee, as proof of all of this,
Yeah.
there's a video from 2009. Now, remember, Abraham went missing in April of 2009.
Yes.
Dee Dee is asking, it's like Dee Dee holding the phone or the camera.
It's a fucking horror movie.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
She's asking Abraham, basically, she's getting him to say on the record how tired he is of people hounding him for money. I'm so tired. They don't take no for an answer. She's asking him these leading questions. So he says things like, I just want to leave. I don't care where.
Yeah.
And when you're watching the video, he's clearly annoyed by her.
Yes.
Like, she's just getting him to say things. At one point, he like waves her off. Like,
Yes.
he just can't wait for her to be out of his face. Like, he doesn't even like her.
And this is where Officer David is back, and he's like, this is bullshit. I could tell.
Bullshit.
And thank God. I was like, thank God they didn't fall for this video.
Right.
He's like, I could tell right away that this was absolutely, she's showing this as evidence, but it makes her the prime suspect.
Right. And on top of, like, he wouldn't just leave like that and sign everything over to you. Like, red flags as far as the eye can see.
Can you imagine how annoying this woman is in real life?
She's a nightmare.
Can you imagine?
Wait till how she acts online.
I know.
She's more insufferable online than she is in person,
It's
if you
true.
can believe it.
I know.
But guess what, everyone? Like, woo woo, this train is never fucking late.
Yeah.
Because Dee Dee Moore has money problems.
Dee Dee's filed for bankruptcy and that she owed the IRS money. And then Abraham Shakespeare comes in her life shortly after the bankruptcy. We are slowly connecting these dots.
Abraham comes into her life right after the money problems like hit, meaning
No, reverse that. She came
found
into
him.
Abraham's life
Exactly.
because he was famous and didn't want to be.
Exactly.
Idiot. So, not you, her.
No.
So,
What if I was like, oh.
I would have been like, no, not you, her. I would have had the same reaction. Dave the cop is so impressed with the web sleuths that he joins them. He makes his own screen name. He's on the message boards.
This is where I kind of start to feel like Dave might be going off the rails a little bit.
We need some boundaries.
We need some boundaries.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
He's pretty much there just to tell them like, yay, you're doing a
Yeah.
great job.
And he sees them as an asset. So he's like, he's so impressed. He's encouraging them to keep working. But he also, like, he says, I can't share a lot of things, but I just keep telling them they're on the right track. Like, you
Yes.
just keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, you can get records faster than I can. Hey, can you get those cell phone racks?
Yeah, they're like, Sleuth's like, I'm on it.
I'm on it.
Speaking of that, though, so here's a little bit more on Dee Dee Moore. She has an arrest record. June 2001, insurance fraud.
Dee Dee had filed this insurance claim that her car was stolen. She was beaten and bound by two Hispanic men. She was thrown in a ditch. And she tried to acquire $60,000 from the insurance company.
But there was one problem. None of it happened.
There's only one problem. None of it happens.
Yeah. Oh, Trish. She's been waiting for this. I'm so happy she's having her moment because
I
it's
know.
her whole life.
Yeah.
She needs it. And I'm saying that, like, she works so hard to be able to be, she's like, where were you 10 years ago? I've been doing this for my whole life.
Well, but like this is where Officer Dave tells us that he and Trisha become besties offline. They're like swapping theories. I'm like, you're a cop.
I know.
You can't do this, officer. I'm falling for Trisha too.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Sure, the charms are charming.
But how do you know she's not going to, like, post it all online? You just got to
Exactly.
be, this is a really...
Don't fuck him on this, Trish. Don't fuck him
Because
on
this is an important case. We need to get to the bottom of this
Yes.
for Abraham and his family. So, like, let's be careful here.
He's just becoming too cozy
little
with the
bit.
sleuthsters.
He's fascinated by
He
them.
is.
And I don't blame him.
So Officer Dave is telling us they subpoena both Dee Dee and Abraham's phone records, and they start matching things up. And he realizes that as of April 6th, both phones are hitting the same cell phone towers. So he says either Abraham and Dee Dee are riding in the same car at all times, or Dee Dee has both phones and is sending messages herself.
I'm going to go behind door number 2.
Of course. And then we see the actual interview where he's like in her face. Officer Dave is not fucking around. He's
No,
like,
he's not.
you have the phone. Where is it? Don't you lie to me. And then he looks at the camera and he's like, and then she didn't give it up and we had to let her go.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Because they go to the house, they go to his house and they search for the phone. They don't find it. And he says, like, we're at a dead end. And I'm like, you're giving up that fast?
Right. Well, for now.
For now.
Meanwhile, Marissa the journalist is writing about this case constantly.
Yes.
Her readers are invested.
Ravenous.
So now Dee Dee Moore doesn't like how it's making her look.
I mean...
She's really upset about the truth. So what she does is, because they cannot fucking help themselves, these people, she calls Marissa the journalist to complain. And Marissa's like, girl...
She could not take that call fast enough.
She was like...
I told her, I said, look, if you want to clear your name, you need to come in and you need to speak with myself, my editors. And she took the bait on the hook.
Marissa tells us she took the bait on the hook.
I mean, these people are so stupid.
Because they just want the attention.
Of course.
You know? So we hear the audio. Marissa and Dee Dee are fighting immediately.
I mean, they are Marissa's journalistic integrity is out the window. She's just screaming at Dee Dee.
I'm like, more integrity like that, because she knows the truth. Dee Dee's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then the Karen she is, like the white lady tears that Dee Dee pulls out. Like, this is all about me.
It's right. She's like, nobody should have to endure what I've been through.
And like, this is so infuriating. Then we cut to Trisha, the web sleuth, and she's like, okay, people like her are why I take blood pressure medicine. Okay, this shit makes me furious. And I'm like, is that what I need? Is it blood pressure medicine? But then Dee Dee Moore starts posting on Web Sleuths.
Oh my God.
She's like, since you're so concerned about me and my life, I'm not a turtle in a shell. I'm here to address all of you. I'm not going to be bullied by people. I will not have lies spread about me. I'm not a turtle in a shell. This is defamation of character. Cut to Trisha, who's like,
I think she means defamation.
She means defamation. I roll. And then she's like, Dee Dee's like, and there's only one narrative, and it's mine, and it's the truth, and I'm standing up for myself, and I'm moving on. And the way I move on is by posting 1 million more times on this website.
Yes. Oh my God.
Dee Dee.
Oh my God.
Get a life, girl. So this and it's like, great, keep talking, because this backfires on Dee Dee Moore. Like, it's delicious. It is scrumptious.
I'm starving, by the way.
I'm starving.
Starving for this.
But Trisha is telling us all about this as she's getting her nails done.
Yeah. She's getting her
nails done. Which I love.
I know.
Trisha's like, this is old hat. She's like, people like Dee Dee are a dime a dozen. Can I do the pink? She's like, what's the little like pale pink you got over there? So the web sleuths. So Dee Dee.
I wrote, it's all about self-care, girl.
Like,
get your self-care on,
blood
Trisha.
pressure medicine, get that gel manicure. So the web sleuths, so Dee Dee comes in and she's like, not going to be bullied, blah, blah, blah. And the web sleuths are like, challenge accepted, girl. Welcome.
Challenge accepted.
Like, you're in the snake pit now, baby boo. We are taking care. Like, don't worry.
Yes.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
So this bitch has an answer for everything. And the web sleuths are like, sure you do, sweetheart. Like, they're kind of letting her cry it out, letting her think she has some kind of power here, because everything's just like happening to Dee Dee. And I'm like, girl, I thought you wanted to move on. Why are you posting about it online relentlessly?
Relentlessly. She can't fucking help herself. Get a life.
She's fighting with people on the internet. Get a life. If you have nothing to do with it, move on.
Move on.
So, because Dave the cop makes a good point. He's like, look, I'm thrilled she's running her mouth online.
Yeah, of course.
Great for me.
Oh my God, running your mouth online is the best thing you can do for somebody in this kind of situation. Keep talking.
Keep talking. So Dave the cop is like,
how does she even find this? I mean, is she Googling herself? If she's truly an innocent person, well, what is she doing on this forum?
Is she Googling herself?
Right.
Like, how does she know that this is even happening, right? Yeah. So Dee Dee Moore, does not know what she's gotten herself into.
Oh, my God.
And it's amazing.
But then she starts referring to Abraham in the past tense.
And then this is where she starts to realize, oh, this is not working for me. Like, being on this website was a bad idea. So she makes some grand exit and ends the post by praying for them all. I'm going to pray for you. And that's when Sleuthster's like, wasn't that so nice of her to pray for us? Like, these people have no patience for her, but she can't stay away.
I know.
These people can't stay away because Dee Dee emails Trisha.
Oh, my God.
And Dee Dee, now she has a whole story.
I know.
Okay, all of those horrible things, in particular the racist rants and talking about Abraham in the past tense, they weren't me.
Not me.
No, I didn't post them.
You never proved it was me. You
No.
never validated me.
My friend did it.
Yeah.
So I hate that, and I want all of the comments and all of the posts removed. And so Trisha learned from some of the other web sleuths.
This is wild. Stay stupid.
She gets the IP address from the email that was sent from Trisha being like, this wasn't me.
Yep.
And she compares it because she owns the web sleuth site.
Yep.
So she can see everything on the back end.
Fortunately, there are some really smart people on Web Sleuths, and they showed me how to look at the IP address on the email. And I had her IP address from the forum. And both were the exact same number. She was busted.
All that account, it was Dee Dee.
It was Dee Dee. And so Dee Dee says, well, my friend must have broken into my house and written the email from my computer.
Oh, God. Endlessly? You're up at 3 a.m. on this fucking website, and it was your friend?
Who broke into your house to defend your honor on websleuths.com.
And Trish is basically giggling like she was busted. She says she was busted. So instead of just shutting her mouth and going away, she posts again. So she posts under, and it's like she just lied and then was caught in a lie. And she's like, I'm not going to acknowledge the fact that I was caught in that lie. Because now she goes under Dee Dee Moore again, that her friend allegedly did in the middle of the night when she was asleep. Wrong. So now she's like Dee Dee Moore for real or whatever on this website. And it's like, hi, my name's Robert James Moore. I'm 14 years old, and Dee Dee is my mom. So now she's trying to act like a 14-year-old kid so people will feel bad for her.
And then she's like fat shaming people. She's like, it is not healthy. Or the quote 14-year-old, it is not healthy to sit for hours at a time looking up what you think is the truth about my mother while you guzzle down your potato chips, putting on pounds after pounds.
Potato chips are delicious. I'm stress eating. This is insane. It's also like the popcorn meme. Like, this is delicious.
It's wild.
But also, I don't even think this kid exists.
Then we learn on December 27th, 2009, Dee Dee takes Abraham's mother to Cracker Barrel for like a post-Christmas dinner.
Like, how is she doing this?
I mean, like, she lives in his house. She owns all of his shit. At the Cracker Barrel dinner, Abraham's mother gets a call from somebody claiming to be Abraham.
This is crazy.
So Officer David is like, talks to Abraham's mom and was like, was it him? And she's like, well, it didn't really sound like him, but he says he's really sick.
Okay.
So jump scare.
This is a major reveal, everyone.
It's a major reveal. Officer Dave tells us that
with the subpoena, we were able to determine that the phone that called Abraham's mother, that's registered to someone named Greg Smith.
Barbershop Greg, like Abraham's like dear friend. And so like, we're like, oh my God, is he fucking in on it?
Right. And I'm like, that was wild to me.
Wild.
Came back as Greg Smith. I mean, like your stomach's in your butt now. Like, what do you mean Greg Smith?
So like,
our friend Greg Smith?
Dee Dee convinced like Abraham's good friend to make this call, pretending that Abraham is still alive. But then Officer Dave gives us the lowdown.
Right. But it's still like, oh my God,
I know.
Like this woman can manipulate these people.
Yes.
It's crazy because Greg goes down to speak to the cops.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, hold on a second. It's a terrible look, but here's what happened.
Yeah, because the cop says to him, like, how do you know Dee Dee Moore? And Greg goes, she paid me to make a phone call.
Yeah, and I'm like, Greg, not helping. Get to the good part, Greg.
Because, well, what happens is Officer Dave comes to understand that Dee Dee made Greg understand that Abraham really is out there, really does want to be left alone.
Right.
And so, like, Greg is doing Abraham a favor by calling his mother and pretending to be him.
To, like, ease her mind.
To ease her mind and say that I'm sick and you're not going to hear from me again.
The level
of
manipulation that you have to be able to achieve. Like, Greg, I know you're not involved in this, but like, how do you get to that point where you're like, that's a great idea?
I mean, on one hand, it's Greg trying to be a good friend to Abraham, you know? But on the other hand, it's like, ask a question, Greg.
I would have been like, I want to talk to him, but I won't tell him anything.
I mean, it's like, my friend has been missing for 9 months.
Have him hold up a newspaper with today's date or something.
100%.
Before I do this to his mother, because then I'm fully believing the story that Dee Dee's telling me. You know, it's a major ask. And I'm just like, I'm fascinated how people get other people to do their dirty work for them. So I just want to know what she said to him.
I know. Believe me, I would like to know what she said too.
I'd love to know.
But when Greg finds out what's up, he is fucking pissed.
He flips. Oh, but he's not flipping because he was on our side the whole time. But the cops, and now he's the informant, right?
Right.
So now Dee Dee thinks that Greg is trustworthy because he made this phone call, right?
Yes, and Greg is wearing a wire because the cops are like, we got to find out where the fuck Abraham actually is.
So they sit down there back at Cracker Barrel or wherever.
Yep.
And now Dee Dee has a brand new story.
Abraham was involved in some drug trafficking.
She created this character, this Ronald dude. According to Dee Dee Moore, Ronald was a drug dealer.
They were doing a big drug dealing, but Ronald killed him for the money Abraham had on it.
Ronald allegedly killed Abraham because Abraham had $800,000 in cash.
While also trying to execute a drug deal.
What?
With Ronald.
Dee Dee.
Right. I know.
What? And also this guy threatened her 14-year-old son who also doesn't exist?
I know.
But the point is, it's clear that Dee Dee trusts Greg, and this is great.
Right. So Officer Dave ups the ante with Greg. He gives him a story. He says, you go to Dee Dee and tell Dee Dee you have a cousin that's going to prison for 20 years, and for the right amount of money, he'd be willing to take a murder rap.
So the point is, this cousin is going to prison anyway.
Yeah.
So he'll take the body, he'll take the murder, so that there's someone who did the murder. So they don't have to look for the murderer anymore because this guy is confessing. Because
Right.
it doesn't matter if this guy confesses, he's going to prison anyway. He already has whatever. So using this, okay, so now we have a perp.
Right.
And now we can keep saying, okay, so this is what happened.
And I think what the point here is they can say okay, Abraham actually really is dead, and here's the guy who did it. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it.
And we don't have to look at anybody else anymore because we have the guy who did it.
Exactly.
It's Greg's cousin.
Exactly.
So enter Mike Smith, quote, one of the best undercover officers in Central Florida, and not my husband.
Oh my God.
Not my husband.
That didn't even occur to me.
Oh, it occurred to me.
Oh, well, of course. Steve Tipton. You know what I mean?
The day we encounter Steve Tipton on this, because we have Steves a lot.
We do.
Not just Stevens, but Steve.
And I feel like we've had Tiptons on these before.
Is that right?
I feel like we have.
Oh, we would have made a federal case out of it.
Probably.
So I'm sure.
I know.
So Mike is playing Greg's cousin.
Yes.
He will be playing the role of Greg's cousin, who's already going to prison and he's going to take the murder rap.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, he meets with Dee Dee. He tells Dee Dee he'll take the rap for $50,000. He needs $10,000 up front, the rest in installments.
And there's only one way this is going to work.
Yeah.
The undercover officer tells Dee Dee that he wants to know where Abraham's body is.
We can do this, but like I said, I'm gonna need a body. Because with the body, I probably can get a plea deal with him and make him run the sentences concurrent.
Okay. So I gotta find out where Ronald's put this body.
Dee Dee has to tell Greg's cousin, a.k.a. Mike Smith, a.k.a. a cop, where Abraham's body is.
And that's the other thing here. Tricking Dee Dee like this, we will find out what happened to Abraham.
Right. And she's like, oh, okay. Because he's like, look, I can't just say I killed this guy. I need to give them details that's going to prove that I know.
Exactly.
And this is how this is going to work.
Yep. So January 7th, 2010, it's the very next day after meeting Mike Smith, not your husband, but the cousin, the fake cousin. Dee Dee calls Greg. She says, Ronald told me where the body is and I'm going to take you.
These names, Ronald.
I know.
Fake Ronald.
And so they get in Dee Dee's cars, Greg and Dee Dee, and they're driving out, and Officer Dave and his crew are following, they're tailing them.
Yep. They're lying in wait across the street.
They drive out to the property that she owns in a place called Plant City that she bought with Abraham's fucking money.
I know. This woman.
In a spot that is in plain view of fucking road traffic.
Yeah.
She sticks a metal rod in the ground and she's like, he's right here.
Here he is.
Tell your cousin to dig him up. He's right here. There's the body.
And she was right.
Yeah.
They find Abraham Shakespeare's body. They ID him. It's a positive ID. It's all over the news.
Yep.
And then this bitch inserts herself into the story.
Oh my God.
She literally drives up to reporters in tears.
Yes.
Because it's about her and it's not about her. The crocodile tears.
I know.
Girl.
I know.
My God.
But the second she drives away from the reporters, they pull her over and arrest her.
They arrest her. So she's arrested. She's charged with first-degree murder because the gunshot wounds came from a gun she owned. So shut up, Dee Dee.
Also, when they exhumed Abraham's body, he's wearing the clothes he was wearing in that video that she made. So essentially, that very night that he's annoyed with her and shooing her away, her whole plan was to get him on tape saying, I don't want to be here. I want to be anywhere but here. I'm going to flee. I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
Then that night, she lures him to her house where she shoots him and kills him and buries him in the front yard.
Right.
And then and then takes all of his money.
And when the cops are questioning her, they're also fighting immediately, like she did with Marissa the journalist.
Yes.
And I'm like, Dee Dee just brings that shit out in people, doesn't she? They are immediate. Every conversation we have, people are either annoyed at her, Abraham, or she's just fighting immediately. Also, just more evidence, like you were saying earlier, they tracked their phones. Their phones were together.
Yeah.
We know that they entered into the house. There was a huge safe there. Dee Dee opened that safe. Inside the safe was a .38 caliber revolver. Abraham was shot in that room. We cut the carpet out of the room, and there were blood stains that were positive for Abraham's blood in there.
They can see where Abraham was shot in the room because his blood is on the carpet. So, we have her full stop.
We got
she
her.
fucking did this.
Yeah, she's convicted of first-degree murder. She's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Bye.
And all of her appeals have, since then, have been rejected.
I mean, everything she wrote online was a huge factor in this, too. The fact that she just kept inserting herself in the story.
Keep talking.
Keep talking, idiots. And, please go on websleuths.com and out yourself, you dummies. What was she thinking? Fuck you. Rest in peace, Abraham.
Yes.
She sucks.
Oh my God, girl, we did Web of Death. What's it called?
It's called Jackpot Murder, which I take exception with. It's the murder of Abraham Shakespeare.
Yeah. Fam, join us over in the Patreon if you want more Jillian and me, and who could blame you?
I mean,
we're bringing in drag queens for drag bingo. We're bringing in this amazing lady for cocktail classes.
Yes.
All of it streaming live. If you can't make it live, it'll be there for you to watch in your own time.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a couple of these things a month in addition to all of the ad-free bonus episodes.
Right.
You get 4 a month.
Yeah.
4 full ad-free bonus episodes every single month.
Yeah, we're doing the 12th Victim now on Showtime, which is wild.
Oh my God, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So patreon.com/truecrimeobsessed, or go to our website, click on the Patreon link.
Yeah.
What are we doing next, girl?
So it's Night Killer, the New York Zodiac Killer.
Oh, shit.
It's Catching Killers Season 3, Episode 2. Apparently, there was a New York Zodiac Killer, which I knew nothing about.
Do we know, like, what decade this was?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay.
It's one of your favorite New York decades. We'll get there when we get there.
Right. Oh, my goodness. It could be any decade.
It could be any decade. It's...
Where's my club?
Yeah, there's a lot of cops who are really pissed off.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, stay tuned for the trailer for that, fam, and then our funny and hilarious outtakes. And we love you.
We love you. Thanks so much. We'll see you very soon.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Joe Proci lived in this basement apartment. He was a lonely, old, defenseless guy who's now fighting for his life. The 7-5 precinct led the city over 100 shootings a year. But the strange thing on this one case, this note was there. This cryptic, eerie note. At the top is a circle with 3 symbols. This is the zodiac. The 12 sign will die when the belts in the heaven are seen. I thought, who the fuck are we dealing with?
Don't be rude. Not you.
I was like, what did Aaron do to you?
No.
Aaron!
Sorry,
But
loving
while
you.
we're here, don't be rude.
Like, just as a note, not to you.
Not to you. But
in case you were thinking about doing it, just again, that goes for everybody.
Don't be rude, Aaron.
A light bulb goes out and they don't have one. And they have to go outside. They have to like go shopping for one. They can never find their keys. Their phone is just, my phone's dead. I thought I just charged it. Shit like that.
Their gas tank is like perpetually on 1/8 of a tank.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. That's not a lot.
Yeah, no. Sure sounds like it.